Alright, what's up? So, think about this video as a part 2 to that other video I made on drum compression and drum bussing, because I have another thing I want to show you, and this is on parallel compression. Now, what's parallel compression? Basically, the idea behind it is you have your drum bus, right? But instead of putting the compressor on the drum bus like I did last time, you make a separate send for your actual compression. And on this, you absolutely murder the shit out of it. Compress it like crazy. And then you can use this fader right here to fade in the compression. So this gives you the control over how much compression you're fading in, you're blending into that original signal. So let me show you how to do that. Now, first, same thing. You want to create a drum bus. I got my kick, snare, hats, and shaker. This is the same session that I used on that previous video. You want to route that all to a drum bus, and now all this does is control the level of those drums. But then, you still want to send this to your master. This is a drum reverb send. You can ignore this for now. Down here, send this into its own bus. So like you did for these, when you bust them into this, bust this into a new channel. Name it like compression or something. And then our old pal, the 1176. I'm going to use this on this video too. Now, new kind of thing unlocked. Now, I do actually want to bring up something someone pointed out in the last video, and they're correct. On the previous video, I told you to make a slower release and a faster attack. Remember, on the 1176, 7 is actually the fastest. You can go back and watch that video if you want me to talk about that. But it's a 1176, not a completely normal compressor. But someone pointed out, if you make the attack as fast as possible, won't that make it so that the transient isn't getting through? Because you kind of want, right? You want the transient to hit and then the compression to start. And they're right. I apologize for that. I misspoke in that video. So I would actually recommend starting with a slower attack, which remember on the 1176 is a 1, and a faster release, because that will allow the transient to come through before the compression starts. So you can kind of hear that boom of I'm snapping my fingers. I don't know if you can hear that. The transient of the drums. Now, again, this is a very fast compressor. So this versus this is still very fast, but you might be able to hear a little bit more of that transient from the drums, which is good. And again, feel free to experiment with all different types of compressors on this. The 1176 is just one I like, and I know a lot of people like on drums. But yeah, experiment with it. Now, in that other video, we left this on 4:1 for the ratio. Secret tip about at least the universal audio version of this, if you hit shift and click on one of the other buttons, it clicks all of them. And this is called the all buttons mode, which in other words means it compresses the ever-living fuck out of it. So this is an extremely compressed drum signal. And then your original bus, right? This drum bus, you're going to send it into this. Now, not unlike a reverb send, right? This, I just have a reverb plugin on this just to kind of give the drums a sense of space in the mix. This is how much you're sending to it, right? This controls how much you're sending to it. You can't do the same on this compression bus, which is a downside of the method that I've figured out for this. This is the way I've decided to do this. Because if you turn this down, you're limiting the signal that gets into this compressor. Watch, I'm going to play it for a bit. Sorry, I wanted to turn the hats down a bit. But yeah, you can see how crazy that meter is, right? Like, it's just flying up because this is an extremely compressed signal. But if I click this and I turn this down, it is going to get quieter because there's going to be less signal going in. But you'll also notice, see, the meter's not moving as much. So, whoops, sorry about that. So let's put that back to normal. So you can't really A/B it, unfortunately, and get your gain matching. Try to gain match with the compressor, and then you'll have to turn down the original signal just a little bit, which will also affect this, but it's still getting crushed. And if you want to hear just the compression, you can just click on this and take it off the master channel, but this compression bus is still getting to the... So if I put this all the way up, you can hear just how compressed that sounds. It's too compressed. But if you send the dry signal there and then blend this in, I'm going to turn the hats down a bit. You can get a really nice sounding drum signal. Now, you don't always need to do it this way. just experiment. And again, I'm using samples here because unfortunately I don't have access to like live drum recordings at this moment in time. But yeah, that I would recommend trying this out. So yeah, that's another way to do this. Just set up your regular bus channel and then send that to a different track. This fader will control how much compression you're blending into this original signal.